Hello, everybody, and welcome to Amsterdam. So we are joined in the sept of the riddling waters. The Netherlands is a very flat country, so for a man who grew up in the Black Forest in Germany, it's a very daunting experience, even still, even though he's been here now, a hot 2 months, it's still very daunting. So Eric Ulrichsen always sits in the marshland with the smaller trees because you know what? At least he can look up at something and kind of see the sky that's kind of fragmented through the speckled cover of leaves. Makes him feel at home, somewhat. Neil, he typically whittles away, or he keeps a small little journal with him, writing in it, probably taking note of the things he sees, his own thoughts, his own feelings. And that's again unusual for Naroon, but it's what he learned from his mother, it's what he learned from his father on how to be a better man than just more than just a monster and a warrior. Is to be the person behind that. And so, as he's introspectively looking, he just stares out at the marshy landscape. Here's like the odd speckle of birds in the distance. He knows none of the animals are ever going to get near him, ever going to get close to him. But he still listens. Part of him misses the songs of the mist of his sept, and part of him is still contemplative of the words of heated moments and the moot. And that's where Eric Orkson is. He just sits, thinking, processing, and for now, quiet.
Well, the quiet doesn't last forever. There's some little bit of fog. I mean, it's that part of the year where it's trying to decide whether it wants to be warm or cold, and if ever there's a time for fog to spring up or mist to spring up, it's when the temperature's just kind of being wibbledy wobbledy. So I'm sure there's at least a little bit, maybe not like thick and cloying and secretive, but still, I'm sure there's at least some. And Grace isn't necessarily even heralded by her footsteps. She's pretty good at avoiding that. On the other hand, one doesn't, well, logically approach an Arun quietly or stealthily, especially when they've learned that Zetarun is very leery of ideas like ambushes. So while she may not be making squelching noises as she walks through the swamp, like just spluttering along, she does herald herself humming. And I don't know if I can pull up the song that quickly, but she's humming. And it's maybe not one of his songs, but it's one of hers. And she's not so much even humming. I mean, the same notes are taken with the words, but it's just kind of the underlying score of the song as she comes along. First, a little whisper of a voice, maybe depending on how thick the mist is, maybe a little bit of an echo, but just giving the cue that she is en route, making sure that she doesn't surprise him, making sure that she doesn't startle him. As sooner or later, sure enough, Grace kind of separates herself from the rest of the fog, first as a bit of a misty figure, and soon enough becoming clearer and clearer. If nothing else, the jacket's pretty bright, and the hair is too. And she'll meander in that direction. He does have a chance to react. It's not like she's coming quickly at him.
What's the
She's
song?
sauntering.
What's the
Oh
song?
God, you're gonna make me find it.
Really?
Um, I think it's this one. Essentially, the violin line on this. It's the one that's in my head, so it's the one that's happening.
Do he listen? Probably even listen to her humming. He hasn't really heard. He just kind of watches.
there may be bits where she kind of, instead of humming, like kind of chirps a couple of the words here and there, the lines that she remembers. She is not fluent yet in Gaelic. She hasn't had the opportunity. She's only been home very briefly. And, someone can yell a language at you a whole lot, but some people pick them up quickly and some don't. And Grace is one that doesn't. But she, chirps some of the words to the same tune that she's humming. And just, yeah, once she's gotten closer, goes back to kind of lightly humming. And eventually, unless there's a response, especially a negative one, the goal is to kind of wind her way over and eventually sit, like, again, not right up against him, just alongside, like you do. That comfortable distance that puts you in arm's reach, but isn't quite enough to, like, bump legs or bump shoulders, bump arms, any of that.
Do all Fianna women sing that?
Yeah, sometimes.
What
Glances
is
over
it?
the grid.
What is it about?
It's a song for a girl who wants to go to this big port and meet all the boys there and chiding her, telling her she has work to do. She needs to come home, forget playing around the port. To go home.
There you go. That's the look. He's like, wait a minute. Do you know what I mean? It's a nearly. It kind of gives this look initially, like,
She, like, does a little bit of the chorus, like, sing songs it. She's not trying to be perfect. She's not a performer. She's not a galliard. But she likes the song. And so she, like, kind of ditties a bit of the chorus. Glances over.
Is there a particular reason behind the singing of it?
I mean, it sounds pretty happy, doesn't it?
But the story behind it is poignant.
It's something of a reality check, isn't it?
I'm assuming you're using it for this reason, yes?
I mean, one would logically assume.
Just gives a shrug, like, I'm calling a spade a spade. You know what I mean? I see you, Ragabash. You know what I mean? That's not
There's a playful little quirk of a smile. She's not on full tilt. Eric's been too sedate for that, but just that teasing little quirk at the corner of the lips. It's almost like it's such an important lesson that they had to write songs about it.
I can't imagine why.
No, I can't imagine for the life of me. Outright foolishness, really. Kind of at that point, like, it's hard to suppress the smile. She's trying, but it shows.
It's not that big wolfish kind of like, You know what I mean? That type of thing, where you see huskies do, where they're you know what I mean? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Just a song to remind you not to get carried away.
Is that about me or you?
Well, I imagine, considering the nature of the conversations that have happened lately, it's probably about me. As much as I'm sure I deny it vehemently.
You already have many times.
No, I do like to deny things vehemently, especially when they put me in anything less than an absolutely perfect light.
And then you proceed to bitch incessantly.
Oh, incessantly is such a harsh word.
It's a truth, though.
Oh no, I get up in a huff and I walk off. And you
Or
get in a
you.
huff and you walk off.
I do not huff. As he huffs.
That's a little bit of the look, like the eyebrows pop just a little bit as he immediately huffs. Oh no.
I do not huff as he like looks away and you hear the hear the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's a little eyebrow pop, like, oh yeah, no. It just no, not at all. No, you boldly stride. But it's absolutely not a huff in the other direction.
Yes. I'm glad you agree.
Oh yeah.
Just
You know,
nods to
clear
himself
as
like,
day.
God himself like, damn fucking right I don't huff. You know, while the huffing intensifies.
As the huffing invisibly intensifies. Oh yeah. No, clear as day. Really clears the nose on your face. And she goes cross-eyed for like half a second just to see if she can get a quirk of a grin out of him, even a
Nah, he's
tiny one.
not even looking at her at this point. He's too busy huffing.
Damn it! Thwarted by her own rightness.
Maybe just stay silent unless you're going to try to speak again.
So I don't suppose, in light of you actually talking to me this time around, maybe you'd want to talk?
Well,
Like
that
a
is
little
up
bit
to
of a
you.
lean and glance?
That is up to you.
Oh,
I believe we talked to each other during the mood.
I mean, of course. That half second where it's like you pointed out the obvious and it's kind of like, yeah, Suppose no amount of huffing on a very one-sided basis, firm nod, it keeps us from getting shit done, though, does it?
It does not.
Well, that's good.
We have a
Though
job to do. Our personal opinions aside.
we do tend to have a lot of those, I've noticed.
Just looks over. Finally does look over. That is not my problem.
I don't know if anyone's ever maybe explained it to you before, but arguments tend to go two ways, at least. Albeit in this case, it went at least four, maybe
Yeah,
five.
I have been told that when an argument breaks out, the person who's left standing is the winner. I was left standing.
Well, I suppose in that, at least, you've proven what we fought over I was wrong.
Nods like, yes, I did. You know what I mean? With this very like, we can see it. The nation logic, like it literally appears above his head. You know what I mean?
There's the tiniest little shuffle towards him. Still not enough to, like, put them, bumped together. Just a little, like, scooch. And what are you sitting alone for?
The trees are nice.
It's true. They are, suspiciously tree-like, even. But that doesn't explain you leaving first thing in the morning to go see them all by yourself and staying quiet like.
It is better that I do.
Well, I know what you think of what I said at the moot, but I thought maybe we could talk about it.
Why?
Because, contrary to popular belief, I wasn't trying to undermine anything. I wasn't trying to outstrip you. I was just trying to make sure that if there was a good way to do it without breaking what you told me,
You
I'd
looked
find
for
it.
you looked for a way to contradict me. Yes, I remember.
I wasn't trying to contradict you.
In front of the others, in front of the entire set.
I wasn't trying to contradict you. But involving something like a spirit to watch, or having a tail in there, it means I'm not there by myself. And isn't that what you wanted?
And yet you are so eager for your pack that we are men who you are meant to trust with your life, not to make sure that you are safe.
She kind of pauses and scrunches her lips for a second thoughtfully. It's not that I don't think. Not that I think you don't care. Not that I don't believe it. But just as much as you gotta do certain things, because you're a get, and that's what you do. There's certain things I gotta do.
And I
And
gave that boy the benefit of the doubt. He is still alive. He is still breathing. I have not considered him a threat. If
you
I
did.
did, but no.
No, you're
Again,
right. You did. And I was panicking because there's at least one rune and one galliard that weren't. And I can't stop both of them. Not if they get too excited, get an
and if
idea in their
they
heads.
and if they went and had that idea, they would meet me. But that means they would have disobeyed my word. I thought you had better faith in me than that.
It's easy for me to lose my head when it comes to kinfolk. And more I wonder if other people see him the way we do.
I see kinfolk that need to be protected, but I also see ones that are displaying qualities as he has as something that needs to be cautionary looked at before we give them our heart and our soul.
To understand. I thought about it. I do understand. I mean, to be fair, that wasn't even what really got me riled up when it came to
Oh,
you.
Runa has constantly been reminding me,
Oh, has she?
attempting to at least.
Oh, bless her for trying.
It is not her place.
Yeah, she's a cub, but at least she's not sitting back. I mean, look at the other examples we have that were raised here.
That
At
is
least
because
she's
I
trying.
have been the one raising her.
There's a quirk of a smell. Exactly. She can't help but try it. To use an example, she's gonna have to push and push if she ever wants to catch up. I wonder if she pushes so hard. Kind of shoots a little look over, like, yeah, that's right. That was a compliment. Eh.
What is this all for?
Well, I do hear it is nice when packs are working together and not being all standoffish with each other and fighting. I don't want to keep fighting. I got mad. It doesn't matter how right I think I am that I got mad. Can't sit forever.
No. But do you truly believe that you are apologizing or hoping that I will take my words back?
Well, I hope you don't actually think I'm a harlot.
I said you were acting like one,
That's.
not that you are.
I suppose it might seem like splitting hairs to you, but accusing someone of acting like something, it's essentially calling them the thing. If I said you were acting, I don't know, like a Shadow Lord or whatever have you, you'd be pretty fucking mad, wouldn't you? Even though I didn't technically call you one.
And considering the displays and the escalation you kept giving me, what was I supposed to think?
Are you telling me you've never slept with anyone? Calling me a harlot for
It is
spending
enough.
time with a Fianna boy?
A Fianna boy that you realized had many different things, that instead of coming to me, you jumped in his bed.
It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, Mariah.
And that spur of the moment thing could have got you killed. If, and I say if, it had been a different thing.
Probably so. And again, I already knew where you lived. I already had the address. If he'd taken me somewhere else, I would have called you. And I'd already
And I,
gone with him to the tunnels.
yes, without my knowledge.
There were other people down there, right? Like, not
Without
necessarily right
my
there.
without my knowledge. If something had have happened, I would have not known.
You would have known as soon as it happened.
And what happens if I did not get there in time?
I know.
So do not tell me. Do not give me simple excuses for a fact. And again, I have said if, but it is still reckless.
Considering all the things I'm poking into her, it didn't seem that much more reckless by comparison.
It was still reckless.
It was. And I see why you're upset. It took me a minute, but I get it. I see why you're upset. And you're right. It could have been dangerous. And it could have been bad. And you might not have found me in time. And of course, that drives you to distraction. Because I know you give a shit. She like leans over, looks at him. I don't doubt that for a second. It was a lot coming home, and in the end, it was still me finding someone to talk to and to spend time with. And I had a very good time, and he loved the things that I showed him. Even she like pulls it out of her pocket again, like pulls out the little wooden shamrock. Even this, he loved it. He loved it so much he thought it was beautiful. He
And I'm sure he
admired the
said
work.
and I'm sure he said the same things to Runa.
I don't know about Runa. I know she met him.
Whatever
She
it
said
is,
something about trying to flirt with him at the bar
and
and
whatever it is, she has been
steamrolling
left
into the floor.
and she has been left doubting herself.
Well, I haven't had much chance to talk to her about it, but from what I understand, it's not like he was leading her around by the nose. She tried to flirt with the boy and she face planted it so hard that she's worried about talking to people at all. And I'll teach
Hmm.
her that.
If he is not strong enough, then he does not deserve to be with a good woman. If he is not strong enough to see her what she is.
I mean, I don't think he was trying to be. She said she was flirting, not him.
Just shrugs. Until I know what is going on, I will treat him with suspicion. That is my people. And considering what we are all facing, suspicion is healthy. I have not said I'm going to go kill him. I have not said that I will take heavy-handed action or torture or nothing of the sort. I require proof that he is not tainted. There is nothing wrong, and that if these pills are not tainted, then it is a simple solution and he be made aware of the Guru Nation. I have not condoned any violence, but I will not treat something that could be a potential threat lightly.
Okay.
Never again.
I and I can see why. But let's take this a step at a time, Raya. I don't mind helping to prove it that he's clean. I don't mind helping to make sure he's clean if I have to. But how do you want to do that?
We have the ability to sense worm taint.
It's very true, Raya, but like you, Dominic has no small amount of Luna's blessing in him. And while kinfolk aren't necessarily as affected as humans are, he's
I see. Again, that is what concerns me. That you don't trust your brother or your alpha.
I
That
trust
you don't.
I trust you to do what you think is best. But I
Then I
bet you
will.
he was raised in the nation just like you were.
I see.
Things are
He
very
just look.
different.
He just looks out.
I don't think that you're stupid. I don't think that you're going to do something bad.
I was a kinfolk before all this. I know how to talk to kinfolk. It is, in fact, the only thing of social quorum that I have is talking to kinfolk.
All right? But if we're going to introduce him to this whole nation, it's a lot to swallow. And being presented with people who can stand as tall as you can is intimidating. And I'm scared he's going to break and run even if he is clean.
Very well, then. He just shakes his head. If that is what you think of me and the others, then that is your choice.
Maybe it's what I think of him.
Then he is weak.
Oh, he's just people.
That is not good enough. Not if he is a kin.
How can he be better than people if he doesn't know he's more?
Well, then we should tell him. And if he is too weak to accept it, then he is not worth it.
It
He is,
doesn't
of
matter
course,
how weak he is, right? In his kin.
he matters how weak he is. The world's honor? Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? When I was a kin, I ran into battle. And I changed. And I still ran in. Not knowing that I would. And I still went. I've seen kin sacrifice themselves just as bravely as any guru has. My kin. Being kin is not an excuse to be weak.
And when I was kin, I was just trying to keep my brothers and sisters fed and doing normal things and taking them to school and taking them to soccer. Because I didn't know. And if someone like a lot of you had come and told me that things had to change in a very shocking way when I didn't know any better, I can't say I wouldn't have run. I didn't know.
And I will judge him if he runs. For if he is to help his people, then so all of us have to hear harsh truths and things that will shake us to our core. But I expect him to stand and take it. If he means so much to you.
If I may say so, Raya. He's not get kin.
Just shrugs then. Then it is not my problem. So long as he is not tainted, I do not care. If that is the attitude you wish me to have, then I will have it.
Is it so much to ask?
It is given.
He's given time to adjust. I'm sure he'll be fine, but I'd like
If
to
he hurt,
break it to him more gently.
then as long as he is not tainted, I have said, he is not my problem unless he hurts you, and then he will become my problem. If he fails you, he will become my problem. But if you wish me to stay away, then I will, out of respect.
She finally rubs her face. Just one of those sheer frustration kinds of things. It's not that I want you to stay away and want him to never meet you. It's not like that.
That is what you have said.
I want him to have a chance to learn a step at a time. I want him to have a chance to get his feet wet before he plunges in. I want him to have a chance to adjust before he's judged on the same kind of scale that we judge each other. Because right now, he's kin. I know he's kin. But as far as he knows, he's a normal person out there in the city, working a job, buying groceries. just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. I don't think he has any idea that we're out there. He doesn't know what we're fighting. I don't think he's even kenned on about. She like gestures to herself. I don't think he understands any of it. And I would die a little inside if it hit him all at once. And she looks over at him, and the shock made him do something that meant you would never respect him.
I have given you my answer. I have not refuted you.
And it's a very careful touch. It's so ginger, but she just gently like sets the hand very briefly on his shoulder. But I do want him to know you.
He will not know me. You have asked.
It's not what I'm asking for.
You have asked. And you have hinted that he will fear me. And if he is not ready for that, then he will not know me. For I, if he becomes serious, will have a talk with him and inform him of who I am and what my intentions are, if it becomes that.
I do want him to know you.
You have asked permission to take him in softly. As long as he is not tainted, that is how it will be done, and I will not know him. He is not one of my kinfolk. He's not one of my people's kinfolk. I have no say.
And she finally just kind of gingerly pulls the hand back and sits it in her lap and just. I mean, she doesn't look happy with the result she got.
It kind of gives her the most mystified, like, and now you're unhappy. I could have said no.
You could have. Right,
You
I'll
ha-
take every step of this the way you want me to take it, as far
and
as
you have
making sure
acted,
I'm safe.
and you have acted like I have slapped you in the face.
It's not a slap. I just don't want you to feel unwelcome. You're
You
my
have hinted.
family now.
You have hinted as much.
You're not unwelcome.
You have hinted as much.
Well, now
But
I'm not hinting. I'm saying very clearly, you're not unwelcome.
it is fine. It is a problem most runes have.
I thought that, before all this conversation happened, before I got all worked up, I'd always figured that sooner or later I was gonna have to tell him, and I wanted him to meet you, even if it was before he understood. I do want him to meet you.
And then you said the things you have said, which conveyed a very different thing.
That is because the things you said made me fear that it wouldn't be so easy, that it had to be all of it slammed on the table at one time or nothing. And everything isn't black and white. It doesn't have to be all one or all the other.
I have given you the answer that you wanted.
Give me the answer you thought I wanted.
Then I will. If you do not want me to do it the subtle way, then I will not.
Is the subtle way that he doesn't get to know you at all until he's fully fledged in?
It is better. Runes are a different breed.
Of course you are. But you're not everything that implies. You're more thoughtful than that.
Yes. However much you think me a hypocrite.
Thought you put that to bed. You tidily.
You still call me it.
Did?
And then right after I get to hear the entire set, hear my tale, my father's redemption, my father's vengeance, mocked by a child of sin.
Say that like I did it on purpose. It set you up for that.
No, I am not saying that. But I have had enough of people poking at my honor, my who I am, and acting as it is something to be mocked, and spat in my face.
I wasn't calling you a hypocrite over your honor.
That is what you said.
No. No, I called you a hypocrite. But I didn't explain myself. And you hit me so fast, I'm not sure I would have had the chance. You're in your rights to do it. She picks up her hands immediately. You're well within your right to do it. But it's not like I explained why. It has nothing to do with your honor. You're an honorable man. But after all the others had said, even with you counterbalancing as best you could, they were still louder and they were still leaning in on me. And I was worried and I was scared. And I'm worrying about this kinfolk that none of you have even seen, but we're so ready to assume was tainted. And then you say I'm acting like a harlot. And it was.
Because after everything I did, how I counterbalanced, how I stuck up for you, I had your side, and they went quiet when I said enough. You let slip. Oh, I jumped in his bed.
He said continue.
After everything.
And I didn't even talk about jumping in his bed. I said we started flirting. And you called me a harlot. For mentioning flirting with a Fianna boy. Who has been very nice to me.
And who
Who has
may
been
be
very understanding even when I try to tell him about a world he doesn't know exists.
and maybe potentially be tainted.
Anyone in this city could be tainted. And I still have to go to the fish market every day and try to find out what's wrong there.
But I'm the hypocrite.
All I could think of was. I wasn't thinking about how it was about keeping me safe. All I could think was that it seemed like everyone was willing to excuse that this kinfolk could be dangerous.
Did I? I seem to remember I offered very different points.
You did.
But no, you would rather hold me to the same standard. And that is fine. I am
I
just a
was
recluse.
angry.
And fucking whirls. Do you know what it's like for me every day?
No, I don't.
Then anger, don't preach your excuse of anger to me.
I wasn't thinking clearly. It felt like both of them were breathing down my neck, threatening a kinfolk, threatening
And
someone I had only just promised to keep him safe.
who stopped it?
I know.
But yet, when I hear and see the looks on their faces, that they would insult you again, like the others had insulted you at that party, the others who looked down on you, made mockery of you. What am I supposed to think? You may have an excuse of rage, but it does not feel like it's tearing your skin apart every day.
No. That's why I'm apologizing for what I said. I am sorry. You weren't standing shoulder and shoulder with what they were saying. But I got so clouded, and I wasn't thinking straight. And I'm sorry.
I may have looked off. I may have let it get better of me. May have.
I may have made a similar mistake.
May have.
With time to think about it, I'd rather apologize to you for saying something that I know now was wrong. I had to take a step back and hear your story again. Think about what you were actually saying instead of what I was hearing from every angle. It wasn't fair. It wasn't right. But I'm glad you won. Because it means no one can question it ever again.
I may have made a similar one. Gives an uncomfortable shift.
He does another one of those tiny scooches. Like he does the shift of weight. Her shift isn't in place. It's just that scooch just like an inch closer.
Just kind of that awkward, like,
Maybe. A light shrug. Because after all, if he can't like look straight at it when he's saying it, she won't look straight at it either.
just that awkward, like, yep, I'm just gonna leave that there. It's the best close thing I'm gonna give to apology. I'm just gonna shift uncomfortably here, like, ugh.
And maybe because of all the things being said, all I could think about was all the ways it could go wrong. Instead of thinking about fairly, how'd you do it right?
Certainly possible.
Chances are pretty good. So, I haven't agreed to go anywhere or to meet him again. I am still talking to him through the phone. And I didn't want to accept anything, any of the offers, until I talked to you and until I knew how you wanted to do this and maybe we could talk about it. I don't want to push you, but I also don't want to do something that you'll think is me still being heated and doing something to spite you. So, to be perfectly transparent, Rhea, I mean, she flicks open her phone and everything. It's up to you what you want me to do and how you want us to do this together so that I'm not taking risks I don't need to. Because you're right, and I should be more vigilant, especially when it comes to things like Fianna Purebreed. No amount of good bloodline means that someone's immune to being compromised. But on the off chance he's not, I just don't want to go in guns a-blazing like the others are talking about. So how do you want to do it?
It will be easier to do it when talking to him. A sense worm, the gift itself, is easy to manifest when you are talking, when you are communicating. It can even be done by a packmate watching by as you talk. It is not like we cannot connect to each other. But I would rather be there. He takes pills, you said. Well, Runa said.
Yeah, Runa
That
said.
it will have to be done on them. I will have to know why he takes them. I have to know where they're from.
It shouldn't be too hard to ask about. Is the lawnmower super audible?
What?
Is the lawnmower super audible? Like, I have no idea if my mic's picking that up.
I can hear something vague in the background.
Okay.
Like I just hear like
Paranoid.
a, I just hear like a little, like you can hear it, but you can't like super hear it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't as loud as it is for me.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, a place he suggested meeting next is not super public, but it's definitely a place other people could easily be.
I
And
imagine
anyone with
it's
the gift
not.
could.
I imagine it's not going to be super public. Gives a raised eyebrow.
It's she even scrolls up a little. It's apparently a karaoke place. Serves sushi.
Of course,
But easy enough for anyone with the gift to happen to be there before we even arrive, even.
you will need someone like Runa. I imagine. I will not be able to walk in.
Does Runa have the gift though?
We'll get it from the sept. Sea dragon is one
Well,
of
we
the benefits we have.
can sense the truth, but I don't know if we can sense the worm, can we?
I shall check. If not, it will have to be Dominic.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But knowing where we were, it would mean you could be nearby if you wanted to be.
I trust my
Glances
Arun.
over.
I trust my Arun. And I will be present in some form. You will see Helga there.
He nods. It actually smiles a bit because there you go. I like it better when we talk like this.
Mm.
Almost like we're putting our heads together. Sparks grin. Or, Sparks, pops out the little grin, glancing sideways. A little up through the lashes, like, maybe. It's almost like we're putting our heads together. In a proper team and all. Not even getting emotional about it. As hard as it is for me. Just puts a hand to her chest, taking the fun out of herself, obviously. Oh, and I do have something. Learned a little something from one of my friends. The ones I told you about. Managed to find him the other day at the fish market. Kind of gives a quizzical glance.
Just gives a nod.
One of Rat's children is, calls himself Brews and Buckets, but, I was talking to him about the taint and how I needed to find where it was coming from. So, seeing as the den father was talking about dumping all that fish anyways, even after it's cleansed, I thought I'd foist a trade for a little help finding it. And he seems to know where we can look. And he's asked if they should go alone or take me. Let me go see with my own eyes. And I've left it up to them because I don't need to be underfoot if they can find out more on their own, but seeing with my own eyes makes for a much better witness statement, don't you think?
A nod.
But they mentioned that there's a lot of things in those tunnels and in those sewers. Said there's another rat pack here in the city. They're not the only ones.
And if they present hostility, they will fall.
Well, mine should be good. But there's another rat pack, and that might be a problem. But they
If
said
they
there's
present,
other odd things down there.
and if they present hostility, or if they're wormed in it, they will meet my claws.
And of course. But knowing even a little bit of what's down there seems like a step in the right direction.
It is.
I'll keep pushing for more. See how much they can let me know, and if we can find a place to go. Maybe get us a guide around. I don't think they'd object to taking a bunch of Guru who'll handle the problems for him.
Nods.
I haven't told anyone else. And I haven't even told anyone else I have those kinds of connections. So if you want to bring that, I'll leave it in your hands how much or little you want to say about how we're finding this out. Another question is if you want me to be so cautious, should I have someone like Dominic or you, even just in the Umbra with me, when I'm going and looking at these places, when I'm
The Umbra
walking
would
around
be
the fish markets?
the Umbra could be dangerous.
It could, but bringing one of you into the market is just as hard.
The Umbra presents more dangers than people running for their lives
That's true.
or avoiding us.
But the point was made, and it was well made, that perhaps I should make sure I have a lifeline at any given time.
I will be there.
She nods.
I know how to drive. Nothing stop. I imagine the curse does not hold sway over a moving vehicle.
No. And I mean, at worst, I figure they'll kind of leave you alone like some of the big old surly, super tattooed sailors. She like puts up the arms like kind of gorilla style, the spooky ones for normal people.
Just nods.
It shouldn't be too bad. Finally leans over, just enough to like kind of thump shoulders. Well, not so much shoulders as her shoulder to like kind of maybe between on the upper arm somewhere. Because height difference is a thing, but just dunk, little lean. I glances over. All right.
I'm fine.
You don't seem very all right. After what the menace did.
He is lucky it is the mood.
Yeah, he is.
I hold such traditions sacred.
Oh, he really is. But I hope you don't think too much that his fuck up, as blatant as it was, reflects on you. On anyone who was there that day. Everyone could tell. You fucked the telling.
It is still an insult to the entire sept.
Oh, it is. And I hope whatever you worked out with his alpha. Well, pardon, with its alpha. Kind of trails off, glancing.
I kept my end of the bargain.
She'll have to keep hers.
I will now increase the price concerning the insult done to me and my father. Now I was being cordial, and now my wrath has been provoked. My wrath is very different from other runes.
It is?
If he hurts you, I will I will do I will do great violence.
She's like looking up with the as there's the couple stumbles, like there's that moment of like, aw. Oh no. Finally gives the big shoulder a bit of a. Actually, no, she doesn't. She's already fairly close. She just kind of flops her head over against the shoulder. I know.
Just nods to himself. I will make him aware when the time is right.
Okay. You know, some people out there might think that maybe you're a little bit of a jerk, but I like you.
What am I
Smirking
being?
faintly.
What am I being a jerk for?
Oh, you're not, are you? You're actually, I dare say, being kind of sweet.
He is, if you two are serious, and he is to treat you well. That is the role. If he does not, then that is a failure on him, and a failure on me for allowing you to take that chance. After me giving my blessing.
Oh, I don't suppose it'll do your heart any good, but I don't even know how serious we are yet.
I said if.
She kind of shrugs because that's true. Like, she's not going to fight that.
And I do not like men who cast women aside once they have. It is dishonorable.
It would be.
Regardless of how serious you both weren't or were, it is still dishonorable. It is a lesson I learned at a young age. When I snuck off as a young man, and I was told that that was dishonorable.
I suppose it's a difference in the upbringing. She kind of grins. To dump a person, to just leave them aside like they didn't mean nothing, is wrong.
I'm just making sure that you're aware if that does happen, what I will do.
I have no doubt what she'd do if it came
He
to
will be
something
still.
like that and I
He
was
will be.
left upset.
He will still be breathing.
Well, that is some reassurance, right?
But I would make sure that he could not use his legs anymore.
Oh, yeah. She like picks the head up looking at him like, oh.
Such a man does not deserve to walk, let alone have the courtesy of walking towards his next person he could dishonor. If that is the case, of course.
I mean, I suppose, of course, but I doubt it's gonna go anything like so severe as that.
If he
Imagine the worst you might ever have to deal with is a breakup and me eating a lot of ice cream.
if he dishonorably acts towards you during that process, I will break his legs.
The mouth kind of sucks in like she wants to protest, like maybe that's a little, and she just doesn't. She just kind of sucks the breath in and nods a little.
Just because the two of you are not in love anymore, or not together anymore, does not mean either of you cannot act cordial. No matter how much the emotions are, it is still a matter of respect for each other, no matter how hard the pain is. And if he is unfaithful, I will,
Blink. Like who?
it is better we not discuss that.
It probably is.
I will not ever use a blade on a kinfolk. Ever. But if he is unfaithful, I will... Let's say he will struggle to take a piss. I will hit him that hard. For his wandering cock.
Oof. Alright then.
To be unfaithful, that is the worst thing you can do. And from what I was raised with. I understand tribes have different customs. I do. I understand that. But when it is not agreed upon, that is a difference. I have heard tales of multiple wives. I've heard tales of multiple husbands, multiple partners. But when it is not agreed upon, that is dishonorable. For the person should know. Understand it is not you disrespecting them, but it is understanding that you are doing your guiding duty and making sure that another generation is bred to fight. It does not change your feelings for them. But to do it out of sheer selfishness, that is when I take issue.
Of course.
I am not some stringent old fool. I'm not going to tell you if he is, of course, clean. Not to. But I will hold him to a standard if you do pursue it seriously. And he may not like it. I frankly don't care. He may not be my kin, but you are my pack and I am your alpha. And if it comes to that, one day you will be having a person walking down the aisle. It's my job to walk you down the aisle, should your father not be present. And I will make sure the man that you are walked to is a man worthy of merit and of honor.
Oh, you really think ahead?
It is the honorable thing to do for a packmate.
Oh, of course. I just.
What kind of alpha would be? What kind of alpha would be if I did not do that? What kind of leader would I be if I did not make sure I provided the best for my people? You just stand up, and move to. Actually, looks like he's just stepping off.
Glance up.
I'm sure you have things you wish to do.
Gonna go off and sit by yourself again?
Doesn't answer.
No, I'm not supposed to be going anywhere by myself, so I suppose my schedule's pretty clear. Till such a time as you're free and when I go into town.
I'm sure you still wish to talk to him, and I will not impede on that.
Contrary to popular belief, I like talking to you too.
Will nod. But it is better. I will leave you alone. Just, turns, nods awkwardly, and starts to walk off.
Hey, before you go, she actually kind of goes to pull herself up like this.
What?
She just walks over, and he can be big and he can be grumpy, but she's still gonna wrap around him. He doesn't have to be complicit to be hugged, especially around the middle, kind of sibling style, just smoosh.
Just stares at her. She does it like, what the, with the expression, what the fuck are you doing,
She probably gives him a squeeze, pulls back, looking up. I know we squabble a lot, kind of, I suppose, like siblings do, but in the end, thank you, because it means a lot to me. That when it all comes down and it's all done, it goes to show that you're just thinking about us. You care. And if the worst thing you're doing is getting carried away because you care, it's not a lot I can take issue with, really. Got a quirk cigarette. A weak one, just kind of like, eh.
It gives her the pat on the head. Kind of rubs it slightly and just nods. We'll turn to walk off. Okay, it's not dismissing her. It's just that soft little pat.
Yeah. Well, she takes the pat pat. She is the raggy. This is her duty. Besides, it's kind of a sweet gesture. But yeah, takes the pat pat, and this time we'll let him walk off.
Trying to dare them, but
Yes.
no.
So thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. And we will see you next time in Nightfall in Amsterdam, the werewolf venue. Da-na-na.